Ricky Russell out in front, Stu Baylor in tow, and Ben Kelly got the axe out, trying to chop away at that lead.
Goggles are off. They're going to get fresh goggles. No senses of urgency, none whatsoever. He's off and rolling. Around the final turn, brings it home with the checkers fly, and Stu Baylor takes the win. That was a pretty subdued celebration.
Maybe we missed something. Maybe there's for road number one, the WXC here at the Dunlop Tires Tiger Run GNCC. And back in GNCC, the 828 of Mackenzie Tricker on the Enduro Engineering Fly Racing Factory Back KTM.
Dust. Major factor has been the topic of conversation. I think we knew that coming into this weekend. It's Corey Steed sitting in the number 3 spot. Taylor Jones just checked in 4th all over the rev limiter. Checks in, and it's a checkered flag for Becca Sheets. Thumbs up in the air, congratulations to Becca Sheets on the win. Boy, so a convincing win for Becca. Some big battles early on between her and Archer. And after that, boy, Becca checking out to Laterville. What's next?
For row number one, the XC1 Pro here at the Dunlop Tires Tiger Run EMTB GNCC. Red background and hot rod Charlie Mullins into the final chicanes here at this Tiger Run GNCC, taking the big win at round number 2. Charlie Mullins.
He's on the plaque, by the way. So this is like insane. And we're off and rolling. We just now completed the first lap in this one in the 4x4 Pro class. Landon Wolf leading this one. And boy, pretty good lead for him after one. And we take a look at our WXC. The 419 of Emily Wise out in front. Brandon Frazier, great start for him. The 784 sitting in the number 2 spot. And Cody Collier, the 823, sitting back in the number 3 spot right now.
Now my enemies always tell you what to do, always looking for the easy way. Now they're walking over you. Never felt so damn frustrated. You're just wasting my time.
Make some noise. There he is. He points. Good job, buddy. Landon Wolf takes the win here at the Tiger Run GNCC. Boy, how about that finish out of Hannah Hunter in the WXC class? So Hannah Hunter going to return center of the box, snagging the big win. Going full send on that last lap.
Do you push too hard to catch up to Walker Fowler and break the machine, or do you bide your time and wait for it to come to you? Well, we'll just wait and see what choices he happens to make as that gap is opened up.
Union County, are you ready to go? GNCC Racing! 10 seconds! And row number 1, the XC1 Pro will be off and rolling at the Dunlop Tires Tiger Run GNCC.
The morning race, I kind of talked about that, about Chris Borich, man. He's still got it in the tank, still capable to go out there and snag wins. Hey, thanks, Rodney. Down here in the Walker Fowler pit, he said Walker hit a tree, messed some things up, but he's out there ripping and rolling.
With the field of competition that is now lurking in the background, it's so much more difficult to have those kind of mistakes made. And once you make one, it seems like they compound. Here comes the man that's going to be center of that podium and the center of that box, the Bidwell Bull, with Bryson Neal rounding. And it's redemption time here at Big Buck Farm as Bryson Neal takes the win here at the Tiger Run GNCC.
On the GNCC podium, make some noise. One more time, your winner here today, Bryson Neal. Check, check, check. Well, there's no doubt there is a lot of history at the Ironman Raceway. The Ironman GNCC is one of the most iconic rounds in GNCC history. But this year, we're here early. We'll race here twice. Today, the inaugural Hoosier GNCC. A different track, but the same old names. Bryson Neal coming off a huge win. Can he make it 2 in a row, or will Walker Fowler return to the center of the box? All that and more starts now on RacerTV.com.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to round number 6 of the Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We're here in beautiful Crawfordsville, Indiana, the Shaver Family Farm at Ironman Raceway for the Hoosier GNCC. That's right, we will race here twice this year. Here in May, it's the Hoosier GNCC, and you can rest assured that this track will give the riders plenty of new track and track we've not ran in a number of years. More on that in a moment from Jared Bolton. But first, let's dive into what happened a couple of weeks ago. Bryson Neal picked up his second win of the season, and in epic fashion. He rode very, very well out there, and I got to think right now he really wishes he could have round 2 and 4 back from this season. 2 11th place finishes have Bryson Neal sitting 4th in points. But you talk to the man himself, he's focused, he's poised, he's ready to end this season on a high note, and as we approach the midway mark, he certainly has that momentum carrying him in the right direction. Finishing second a couple weeks ago was Cole Richardson, another rider who has finally seems to be getting things whipped, coming off 2 second-place finishes in a row. You know the Cole train is going to be hungry today to capture his first win of the season. Can he get it done? And then, of course, finishing third, your leader in points, looking for another national title, is Walker Fowler. You got to think, man, when he has a bad day, he has a mechanical error, the man still finished in third place. What is it going to take for these guys to overcome Walker Fowler? He is without a doubt in control of the points chase on the season, and look for some big things out of him today. He does not like losing, and he wants to back up that third place from a couple weeks ago with a win out here today. And, of course, the XC2 Pro-Am class picking up his first win of the year, Brandon Owens, the number 246 Yamaha, had some great riding a couple of weeks ago. He was a name that was on the radar coming into this season. Hasn't had the best start, but maybe things are turning around for Brandon Owens now. Look for some big things out of him and maybe back-to-back wins. Finishing second a couple of weeks ago is your points leader, the 714 Yamaha of Ronnie Rush. Ronnie Rush has been steady, controlled, and consistent all season long and leads this points chase. Look for him to rebound and try to put that bike center of the box here today. And finishing third, he's second in points, is Ben Kavaleski. This man has been quiet, but getting the job done with consistency. Can he pick up his second win of the day today here at the Hoosier GNCC? Well, it's the same location, but it's a different track here today. And let's take it down to Jared Bolton with the Yamaha track description. Well, thanks a lot, Jared. Track looks gnarly. We are not used to racing here at this location this time of year. We're here in October. Things are going to be different. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out here today. Let's get to it. But first, we need to take a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll be down on the starting line with Rodney Tomlin and those iconic 10-second calls.
Rocky Mountain ATV MC, retailer, distributor, manufacturer, product developer, parts tester. This is what we do. But who we are is something much simpler. We're riders, like you. 100% employee owned and operated, a company built by riders, entirely for riders. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
The directive: advance human performance beyond biological limitation.
This Racer TV broadcast is brought to you by Specialized. Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Just watch over us. Let us have a wonderful day. Take us all home safely when it's over with so we can get back together again one day. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please remain standing. Stand at attention. Remove those caps and cross those hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
There you have it, folks, and the stage is nearly set as we get set to roll into Indiana's Ironman Raceway for this Hoosier GNCC and the inaugural running here in this 2021 season. But before we do that, let's meet our starting lineup. Rolling to the line today in accordance to points through the first 5 rounds of GNCC racing. Here are your players. Riding aboard the number 1 from Rogers, Ohio, a 6-time GNCC champion. Brought to you by Factory Yamaha, GBC Tires, and Fly Racing, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today, riding aboard the number 7 from Newfield, New York on a Maxxis Ithaca Recreation Sports WPS Fly Racing backed Yamaha, Hunter Hart. He's third in points, riding aboard the number 3 from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania on an Action Off-Road GBC MotoWaz Tealy Energy Racing Yamaha, the Coltrane, Cole Richardson. Up to 4th place, riding aboard the number 2, hailing from Bidwell, Ohio on a CST Hauser Racing Wiseco Act Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Riding aboard the number 4, 5th in points, hailing from Casca, Pennsylvania to Maxxis Elka Racing, Moose Racing backed Honda, Jared the Sneaky Snake McClure. He is 6th in points, riding aboard the number 5, 75-time winner and 6-time GNCC champion from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, Maxxis Fly Racing, the old Cycle Barn Suzuki of Chris Borich. 7th in points, riding aboard the number 8 from Akron, Ohio on a B&R Motorsports, GBC Motorsports, Hauser Racing Yamaha, Josh Merritt. 8th in points aboard the 521 from Waverly, West Virginia on an Over Tires Moose Racing Parts Unlimited Honda, Adam the Gator McGill. Rolling to the line, 9th in points today. He rides aboard the number 712 from Waxhaw, North Carolina on a Pierce Performance Fly Racing GBC Tires backed Yamaha, John Galata Jr. 10th in points aboard the number 741 from Myersville, Maryland on an FTR Graphics Fly Racing 9.2 Goggles back Suzuki, WW Wesley Wall. To the line next and welcoming back in a near 2-year absence from Grain Valley, Missouri on a Spider Graphics Shockworks Motorsports GBC Tires Honda, the 816 of Tucker Wyatt. Aboard the 703 from Petersburg, Indiana, your own Action Off-Road Maxxis Demery Motorsports backed Honda, Austin Abney. Riding aboard the 701 from Ithaca, New York on a Custom Axis Goldspeed Hauser Racing Yamaha, Greg Covert. Featured on the event t-shirt and celebrating his 27th season as an XC1 Pro from Aurora, Ohio, GBC Fly Racing HMF Factory Yamaha of Johnny G, Johnny Gallagher. And the 406 from Windsor, New York on a Fly Racing GBC Tires backed Yamaha of Devin Feehan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the Hoosier GNCC. As our riders find their way onto the starting line and make these closing and final choices before the waving of the green flag, we have but one more order of business down here on the starting line before we turn these riders loose, and that is, if you will, join with me, DJ Judd. Remove the meat. The Monster Energy Activation Transport makes its way off the starting line here this afternoon as we clear the way for the winds of change that are about to begin to blow here in beautiful Indiana. Gust of wind nearly 40 miles an hour is what we're having forecasted in the next hour or so it could really change the face of this race as this day rolls on. XC1 Pro Class on road number 1. As we take a look at this starting line, housing some 200 riders across the starting grid here this afternoon for round number 6, as all attention turns to Ricky Towery up in turn number 1. as he is about to begin our starting sequence. Of course, all systems must be go before we see this process begin, and it looks like all systems are go as they've all been checked. Timing and scoring, the track crew, EMT, and so many more ready to go. 1 minute, folks, 1 minute before the start of this Hoosier GNCC. As the anticipation begins to build, the crowd begins to build here in the Hoosier State itself. And we await the next call from Ricky Towery, which will be our signal of 30 seconds before the green flag waves here in Indiana. It will also be a dead engine signal for these riders to shut them down, guys. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from going GNCC racing here in the springtime in Indiana. And I got to ask you, Crawfordsville, are you ready to go GNCC racing? That's pretty good, Crawfordsville, but I know you are Motoville, so we're going to try this one more time. Let's do it like this. Motoville, are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds, and row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the Hoosier GNCC. Green flag waves. Riders dart toward turn number 1. It looks like Walker Fowler on point, and he is. Right behind him, the number 7 of Hunter Hart and the number 2 of Bryson Neal in the thick of things. And there's the Gator, Adam McGill, back in the number 4 spot. Blue flag waving XC2 Pro-Am, Nick Davis, Grayson Eller, Christian Meyer, Brandon Owens, Kenny Schick, Ben Berger, Daniel Peters, Albert Jadish, Ben Kowalewski, also TJ Barnett, Wyatt Wilkin, Dylan Walraven. 10 seconds. Max Lindquist, Ronnie Rush, Curtis Ballsback, Lane Boyle, and Tanner Walker. Off and rolling they go. It's 4:51. TJ Barrett from Morrisville, New York on the Rick Snyder Engines. Barrett Brothers Auto ARS FX backed right, grabbing the early lead. Senior 840 plus class up next with Brian Axline, Shane Worth, Joey Kugler, Jeremy Reeves, Ryan Foltz, Nick Lambruno, Mark Batson, Chris Conklin, Todd Muscala, the Marble Man, and Brian Shaw in 10 seconds. All right, 828, Brian Shaw out of Harrisville, Pennsylvania. That was a good shot. College 8 coming up next. We got the 16 to 21-year-olds. Davis Brinson, Nathan Dearborn, Carson Collins, Dalton Keys, Trey Redmond, Ethan Meyer, Ramey Wilkinson. 10 seconds. Also, Alan Daniels, Alec Vanderpool, Jaden Lemke, Wesley Wirtz, Dominic Stevens, Kenton Henderson, Alex Tiemann, Bryce Husband, Chase Allison, Michael Gasper, Lane McCormick, Corbin Menon, Cody Forrester. Also, Mikey Gasper. 512 maybe, yeah. Lane McCormick from Muncie, Pennsylvania. Yale Cycle Barn grabbing the early lead in that one. Also, Corbin Menon, Cody Forrester, Aaron Greenwell, Trenton Benskin, Corey Vanderliner, Caden Ryan, Colton Buck, Cameron Abey, Steve Harold, James Glotta in that one. So we go to our next row. Junior A. 10 seconds. Caleb Edwards, Jacob Albaugh, Alan Blavos, Jeremy Ledon, Alex Alioff, Ryan Thompson, Kate Vanderpool, Brad Enderell, Noah Landis, also Colton Karsuda, Colton McDonald, Jay Shadram, Mick Rice. Also Bryson Mullahan, 822. Ross Heyman out of Petersburg, Indiana, grabbing the early lead. Also Dustin West, Scott Hanley, Brady Myers, Devin Master, Jonathan Grimble, Gavin Jenkins, Travis Enderley, Mitchell Edelblut, Bryson Mullahan, and as we said, Mick Rice in that one as well. So that 830 plus class. 10 seconds Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, also Brad Whitehead, Dirk DeCesar, Michael Garsh, Travis Mader, Luke Reeves, Cody Holcomb, Justin Lewicki, Seth Irwin, Michael Lancaster, and A.J. Coons, or Tom Coons. The 0-2-1, Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens from Shamokin, Pennsylvania. Shamokin them all into that second turn on the GBC Motorsports Waynesburg Yamaha, backed by Fly Racing. It's the Senior B 40 plus class. 10 seconds. Scott Wilhelm, Steve Combs, Jason Lemley, Philip Thayer, Chad Judy, Douglas Bailey, Rick Marino, Richard Sievers, Michael Mittendorf, Scott Cateau, Paul Hopkins, Ivo Pahalik, Doug Allball, Justin Sullivan, Jeremy Van Fossen, Bobby McCauley, Dave Ashby, Robert Stevens, and Richie McCauley. 179, Jason Lemley from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Woo! One rider, little spill out down here. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Are upright and back to rolling. Collars B up next. Jacob Fleming, Paxton Dickerson, also Seth Blake, Connor Brandt, Jeremy Kogar, Colton Dobbs. 10 seconds. Hayden Hunter, Kai Arbogast, Dylan Signorella, also Preston Rapsack, Bryson Harper, Riley Salick, Caden Leonard, John Williams, Ian Burns, Cody Pierce, Samuel Ditcher, Jordan Burnett, John Ashcraft, Cooper Stewart, Chase Rogers, Blake Vail, Michael Snyder, Damon Greishop, the 420 of Ian Burns out of Bainbridge, Ohio, and a Burns Construction, Edge Graphics, back machine grabbing the early lead. Also Michael Snyder, Damon Greishop, Jonathan Figley, Hunter Godsey, Chance Hickey, Colby Baker, Michael Word, Colin Dunn, and Mason Howard on that row. Carnage in both turn 1 and 2 as they get it sorted out. We get set to head to the Junior B 22 plus class. Corey Pancake, Nick May, Zach DeNoble, Kobe Mullins, I should say, Landon Beatty, Hunter Harrington, Cody Boyles, Shane McMillan, Austin Stevenson, Grant Rutan, Brandon Vogler, Robbie Rosenberger, Quentin Nahiden, Cody Ballsback, Justin Cotter, Dalton Lee, Travis Blanish, William Wallace, Stephen Hannum, Matt No, Eric Kroger, the Krog, also Josh Hack, Ethan Hilberg, Brett Barnup, Nicholas Blaney, and Henry Moore in 10 seconds. They are off and rolling. Junior B 22 plus class now sorting it out. And it is 431. Eric Kroger from Greensburg, Indiana, the Big Krog Performance, Hilltop Motorsports, Spider Graphics. All bringing you that rider. And our Vet B30 plus class with David Kite, Nathan Tickle, Ryan Simmons, Mike Hetty, Drew Burgess, CJ Mullet, Seth Matt, Ben Dunlap, Kenneth Rich. 10 seconds. Zach Spillman, Chad Burgess, Clint Thompson, Matthew Pruitt, Nicholas Kazmarski, Tim White, Ryan Leckrone, and Ray Perry, along with Dakota Coombs. And it is the 507 of Clint Thompson from Coal City, Indiana, on a Clay City Pottery Motorsports Galaxy Cycle Adams suspension backed ride to wrap up that Vet B class. Looks like we got a clear start, my friends, and that's going to wrap things up as far as getting them off and rolling. Winds starting to pick up out here. Are they winds of change, and what kind of change will they blow in? We'll stick around to find out. Walker Fowler on point when last we saw. Will he be able to hang on to that one, or will the bullet take his shot? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
Rocky Mountain ATV MC, retailer, distributor, manufacturer, product developer, parts tester. This is what we do, but who we are is something much simpler. We're riders, like you. 100% employee owned and operated, a company built by riders, entirely for riders. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready.
The
directive. Advance human performance beyond biological limitation.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Chematic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Chematic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Chematic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment. Whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts depend on Chematic. Chematic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond. Because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
This Racer TV broadcast is brought to you by Specialized. Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Mikey Wayne's here alongside, momentarily, I'll be alongside Rodney Tomlin. Of course, Rodney down on the starting line with those iconic 10-second calls. This is round number 6, the Hoosier GNCC here at beautiful Crawfordsville, Indiana at Ironman Raceway, a location that boy, a lot of history here in GNCC history here at Ironman Raceway. Now, if you're watching at home, you probably know we're racing here twice this year. So let's not replace Ironman. We'll be back here in the fall. But after last season with coronavirus and what it did to our schedule, we kind of got ahead of the game. And looking at the schedule this year, we're returning to a few places. You guys the Big Buck property a couple times, and obviously we'll be racing here at Ironman Raceway a couple of times as well. Right now on screen, mile marker number 7. This is the Pro ATV race, and to give you guys an idea of what these riders are going to be facing here today at Ironman Raceway for the Hoosier GNCC, we'll take a look at the Yamaha Racing track map. So there you go. The Shaver Family Farm Ironman Raceway. Good look at the moto track and all the beautiful agriculture and trees. The trees are green. We're not used to that when we're here at Ironman, that's for sure. But, of course, that offers a little bit of everything. Everything everybody's talked about is classic GNCC, old school GNCC. Two featured spots, of course, the Monster Mile and the FMF PowerPoint, two notoriously tough sections of the track. We always kind of joke the Monster Mile, it may not be a full mile, but I can guarantee you it's going to feel like one. So, again, we're off and rolling here. So, the Hoosier GNCC, we can't talk about the history of the Hoosier because this is the inaugural Hoosier GNCC, and we've gotten good reports so far. It's been pretty good. Weather is actually a little bit chilly. I know on screen, if you're at home, you might be thinking, boy, it looks warm. No, a little chilly. Wind's blowing, and I'm from Indiana myself, coincidentally, from from right here in Crawfordsville. And I can tell you 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday, I believe, we actually had snow. So it didn't last long, but nonetheless, like we always say, anywhere in the Midwest, if you don't like the weather, stick around, it'll change. So our whole shots, Walker Fowler got out in front early. Last report we had, he was still moving out in front. And I believe these guys, they did run a short abbreviated lap number 1. So Walker Fowler checks in with 1 lap completed. Now, if you're at home or you're watching live timing and scoring, you're thinking to yourself, my goodness, they're going to run 7-minute and 31-second laps. No. The laps will get longer from here, I promise. That lap number 1 is an abbreviated lap. But as it stands, Walker Fowler in the number 1 spot. Hunter Hart in second. And how about it? Essentially out of Petersburg, Indiana, just a stone's throw away from Crawfordsville, just outside of Montgomery County. Austin Abney, the 703, the rookie, up into the number 3 spot in the overall. There is no place like home. We'll see Abney fares throughout the rest of the day, but boy, what a start for that young man, and what a start for John Glotta Jr. sitting in the number 4 spot. The Gator, Adam McGill, in 5th with Bryson Neal. Right now, man, coming off that win, currently sitting 6th place right now. Chris Borich in the number 7 position with McClure in 8th. 9th place is Wesley Wolf, and Josh Merritt rounds out your top 10. Another rider of note just outside of that top 10 is Stephen Harrell. Stephen Harrell is out of the College A class. Now, this is pretty common. You got a little creek crossing here. This was a major spot of conversation from the morning race. So these guys said, man, I thought it was going to be a dusty one, but we definitely found some wet and some low wet spots out there for sure. So these guys coursing through there right now. But again, Stephen Harrell, out of the College A class. This is not too uncommon to see a rider from an A class or from the XC2 up into, easily up into the top 20, up into the top 10 with those short laps on adjusted time. We see that pretty common. So we'll see how that plays out. But nonetheless, fantastic start for the College A rider of Stephen Harrell, a rider that's no stranger to getting top amateur nods here at the GNCC. So kind of the backstory coming into this one. Obviously, your points leader, Walker Fowler, he has been very, very consistent all season long. Matter of fact, I believe he is the only rider that has not finished off the podium, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it. You go back just a round ago, he had a 3rd place finish, and that was with some mechanical issues. He was able to salvage that 3rd place, but the big story there is Bryson Neal, who after round number 4, I believe he had finished back in like the number 11 spot. Not a good race for him. Kind of had his head down. He was upset. He was irritated, and kind of had a conversation in his own mind of like, okay, I got to get over this. I got to go out there. I got to do my best throughout the middle of the season, and let's finish this season strong and carry momentum throughout the rest of the year into next season. So he's not lost focus. He wants to go out there and win, and I believe before this one's said and done, I know he's sitting back there in the number 6 spot, but boy, have we seen Bryson Neal click off positions in a hurry in these 2 hour races. So keep your eyes on the B. Neal to move up before this one's said and done. And how many times have we said it, man, the worst thing, if you are not Walker Fowler, what's the one thing you don't want early on in the race? And that is Walker Fowler getting a whole shot and getting a gap between him and the rest of the pack, and that's what he's trying to do. When he checked in, it was just 2 seconds back to Hunter Hart and another about 2 seconds back to Austin Abney in that number 3 spot. So obviously still tight through 1. Be interesting to see how this one plays out as we start getting into the thick of this 2-hour race. As Rodney Tomlin joins us back in the booth now. And Rodney, it's no shocker, Walker out front doing his Walker thing.
What?
I know.
Really?
I'm as shocked as you are. Paint me shocked. And I was just saying, that's the one thing, I think if you're Walker Fowler, it's exactly where you want to be. He loves getting those early leads and being able to control the pace. And if you're everybody else, you're shrugging your shoulders going, here we go again. I got to find a way to get around this guy.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things that impressed impresses me most right now is Austin Abney, how quick he was able to position himself in the third place. Now, that first lap that we got scored in here is a very short lap. It's about a third of a lap, maybe a quarter of a lap or so, 7.5 minute lap time. But, you know, that kind of gives you an idea how things were starting to set up there early in the race. Bryson Neal, I thought it looked like he had gotten up into like that second or third place position off the start from my vantage point anyway. To see him back to sixth, I'm a little bit surprised with that. But here's some good news for Chris Borich. If he can latch on to Bryson Neal, and those two can work to the front of the pack, those winds of change I mentioned with the wind starting to pick up out there, hey, we might see one blow in for Chris Borich and that put him in a little better position
today. How would that be for an old school? Johnny was talking about that last Sunday during the pro bike race. He was talking about the different styles of past champions, and Walker likes to get out front early, control the pace, and lead the whole dang thing. And then he talked about Borich was the guy who, you know, he'd sit there second and third, and then that last lap, here he came.
He'd Borich you.
So he'd Borich you. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason we say that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one's kind of got that recipe, especially if he can get hooked up with a guy, like you said, Bryson Neal, who all season long it seems like he's got these starts that's like, man, come on. But then as soon as you count the guy out, he's right there fighting for a win.
Well, as we said, you know, Fowler, Hart, Austin Abney in third, John Galata Jr., another youngster up front in that fourth place position, Adam McGill, Bryson Neal, Chris Borich, Jared McClure, Wesley Wolf, and rounding out the top 10. I do want to point out college A-class leader in the early part of the class, Steve Harrell, the 908.
Oh, yeah.
He is 11th place overall. We saw this in the youth class this morning, or the morning class this morning, I guess the 11 o'clock race, when the women's class came through. Morgan Johnson was actually running third overall amongst a host of 4x4 Pro, WXC, and some Sportsman ABs that were really on point today. But nonetheless, you know, that first lap might be what you're seeing now, might be not an indication of what you can expect to see when these guys come through at the end of lap number 2. But it is kind of exciting to anticipate the possibilities that could come forth with this kind of pace that this College A rider has set forth already. Dalton Keys, the 123, is running 17th overall. He's second in that class right now. But important to note, some of you folks that were around here, around the track as we wait on our leaders here at the 5-mile marker, Mikey. If you were at the track, you heard us calling on the PA that we had to re-rack the XC2 Pro-Am class because there was a problem. What happened was Brandon Owens, who was supposed to have been fourth gate pick or fourth start pick, somehow or another got last gate pick or start pick.
Walker Fowler on screen, and man, Rodney, he's got company right now.
Yes, he does, and that young Hunter Hart is not wanting to relinquish that. And look at that.
That was Bryson Neal, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah, Bryson Neal was up to third already. So, see, that's how quickly things can. There's Abney back there in the number 4 spot, looked like going through there. Hunter Hart, by the way, I was at the Mid-East last weekend. My son raced down there in the morning race on Sunday, but on Saturday, Hunter Hart came down. It was him and I believe Grayson Eller finishing first and second down there. Look at the shot that we've got via our drone today. Here a little further north than what I even expected myself. There is some foliage on the trees, but it's not nearly as thick as it is a little further south and west or east of here over in Ohio right now. So we're going to get some pretty good bird's eye views of some battles, it looks like, Mikey, that are going to be coming our way. But to finish the story, Brandon Owens is the reason that we didn't get the start. We had to restart that. Here's an ironic story about that. Brandon's machine, brand new machine, did not fire off the start. Riders had left. It was 5 minutes after the last rider left the starting line before he got his machine fired up and finally took off. About insult to injury on the day, that guy gets bypassed for his start pick on the first, and then he can't get his machine to run. So what a heartbreaker there for Brandon Owens. We'll be keeping an eye on that PirateMX.com rider to see how things fare for him. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and to know what he is capable of, and to see the struggles that he is having. If you're a Brandon Owens fan, you've got to feel those pains and those angers and those anguishes right along with him. Here's our shot of our top 3 as they make their way through the field. That is still Bryson Neal
Neal back in that number 3 spot with Walker Fowler. Now, you know, we talk about Walker Fowler and this early sprint speed that he's got. I believe it was Hunter Hart. I'm not sure if it's still Hart back there in the number 2 spot, but whoever it is getting under all sorts of pressure right now as Neal is trying to close in. You can see the defensive riding coming into play there, which is opening that gap up between first and second. That and Walker Fowler has got an amazing throttle thumb there that somehow or another finds that extra horsepower out there in those open sections.
Yeah, he's 9 3/4 fingers. I think he's actually got that on his helmet now, by the way. But yeah, I believe it. Yeah, Walker out front, Hunter Hart still in that number 2 spot, and I believe that's still Bryson Neal in the number 3 spot, although I can't quite see from the bird's eye view if that's our bright yellow helmet or not.
Unless Abney got back around him. When we saw him in that wood shot just a few moments ago, that was Neal up to the number 2 spot, up from 6th. Or number 3 spot up from 6, I should say.
But those guys taking some time, and honestly, the best thing for Walker Fowler right now is knowing Hunter Hart's got a battle behind him.
Dude,
those 2 guys, duking it out. Hey, you boys work it out behind you. I'm going to try and check out to Laterville.
No doubt. And as dry as it is here, I can't believe there's no more dust. Now, obviously, we did some watering in the pits, but maybe the wind's helping out a little bit. But you're seeing a little dust kicking up, nothing hanging around, obviously. So I don't think vision is going to be a problem. I don't think these machines sucking dust in the air filters are going to be a problem. So this is just going to be an extremely wild ride, I think, here at this inaugural running of the Hoosier GNCC. Love the Ironman Pond there as they cross the dam section there and head on the back section through the workstation region. This is right next to the starting line. If you were watching the start, it's just off to the left right there as these ride their way around. Still Hart and Neal 1, 2, and 3, and here we go. This is basically, yeah. Did you see that?
I mean, the speed that Walker Fowler finds in those open sections, which he has the benefit of, no one's on his tail right now. Well, not close to his tail, I should say. But yeah, he's just able to open it up, Rodney. He's hitting his marks. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. And right now, if you're Bryson Neal, you're thinking, all right, I am sick of eating Hunter Hart's dust right now. I got to find a way around him.
With some confidence. Oh, look at this.
He just got it.
Wow, great. Oh, nope. Line choice looked like it was going to work in his favor, but it failed to work on him. It actually dropped him back. He must have hit a tree or something there, slowed himself down, because, Mikey, we saw a lot of time lost there by that number 3 spot.
Yeah. Able to reel in Walker just a little bit, so we'll see what Bryson Neal's got in store for Hunter. But that's the kind of moves we are used to seeing out of Bryson Neal. He wants to make that aggressive move and get out front.
Well, and I'm wondering, is Walker Fowler that much faster than these guys out there in those open field sections? And that's a possibility. But look, once Hunter Hart gets the pressure off his tail, how much time he's able to make up. So I have to think that there's a little bit of defensive riding that is going into there that is allowing Walker Fowler to open that gap up in some of those sections, and then again, that's in the open fields. This is a tighter wood, so it might be just a little bit different. Some of these guys are a little more daring in the woods. I think Bryson Neal would be one of those, and I almost have to think as well that Hunter Hart is, especially coming off that win last week in the gnarly conditions at the Mid-East Hare Scrambles race. That guy really knows how to ride all conditions. It was muddy, it was nasty, and it was cold. He comes here this week, and he's got this one dialed in. I think he was ready for a race day like today.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Right now, Hunter Hart has zero room for error. Fortunately for him, he's got the teacher in front of him, Walker Fowler. He said, okay, whatever line you take, I'm taking. And Bryson Neal going for it.
He does it. He makes it happen right there. Bryson Neal up to the number 2 spot. That was a beautifully executed move. Something similar that he was trying a half mile or so back when we saw that gap open up, and Hunter actually closed that gap up on Walker, which has actually helped, I think, Bryson in the long run as well, because it's got him a lot closer to Walker Fowler, and you can see a little more sense of urgency on behalf of Walker Fowler now that Bryson Neal's in that number 2 spot.
Oh, my goodness. And now Hunter Hart says, all right, you can do it. I'm going to try it right there. Doesn't quite pay off for him, but boy, this is a good start. We got some back and forth right now, and you got to wonder right now, Austin Abney, after that fast start, where is Abney? I mean, Abney should be, I believe, back in the number 4 spot right now.
And the thing about it is, he could be just out of the sight of the camera, and he may only be 5. There he is, right there.
I believe that is him.
That is him. So he's a lot closer than what we anticipate, guys. We're watching a 3-way race, not realizing that there's actually a likelihood of a 4-way race
race about to shape up. This right here, I heard you mentioning it, nothing like being at home.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, Austin Abney, I did an interview with him prior to the start of the previous race a couple of weeks ago when we were at the Tiger Run. And, you know, he said after his first race, he had a lot of people message him and people call him and asking him, what happened? What happened? Because he finished 8th or 9th, I think, and that was his best finish so far in the season. And he said people were asking me, what happened? What happened? And, you know, he says, man, they're just fast. You know, it's a bigger step than what I realized. But I think something about being here, you're right. There's that confidence level. All the hometown fans, the friends, the family, all right here giving you that extra edge. And you know, they're psyching you up all week, man. You saw the lap times. Look at how fast you were in the X. There's no reason why you can't run with these guys. So they've been pumping him up all week. And look what it's doing. It's paying off.
Yeah, it definitely, for a young rider, they sometimes the fans, even if they're your fans, not saying that they're against you, but your own fans sometimes can be your own worst enemy because they're constantly pumping you up like you're the man. Not to say that he's not that he say he can't be, but then as a rider, okay, if you don't have the success that your fans are expecting, you're thinking in your head, man, I'm letting them down. Why am I even doing this? So this is the ride, to me, I think that Austin Abney needs.
Yeah, it is, and maybe it's what he's trying to give to those fans.
Yeah.
And since they're here, he wants to give them a little bit extra since he's at home. And good analogy, good point, Mikey Waynes, as we roll through another great wooded section. I wish I knew. Is this the Enchanted Forest section?
Dude, I guess so. I mean, right now, everybody at home, we're watching a race, and I'm sure some of you guys out there are like, I see a lot of morel mushrooms down there.
There are, by the way.
There are a lot out there.
Yeah, there was a big mushroom fry last night at the Shaver House.
There was. I got there just in time to have like 2. But that's all right. I'll take it.
And then they had a fish fry. I think
they did.
Was that Griff and Jeff Russell?
Griff and Jeff Griff was frying up fish last night, so Griff caught her.
Did Jeff Russell catch them all?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who caught them, to be honest with you, but whoever did, thank you.
And then last night you had a great Bottleneck Live show.
We did. It was a wild one. Stu Baylor, Liam Draper stopped by.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, go if you've never seen Bottleneck Live, you don't if you didn't watch last night, go on Facebook, watch the replay of it. It was a
good one.
It was a very good one.
For part of the stew, maybe put the kids to bed. But other than that, it was good. It was good.
All right, continuing to watch this battle shape up. No changes as of yet that I can see, other than it looks like these front two may be starting to stretch out a little bit over Hunter Hart now, which may give a breath of fresh air to Austin Abney that might be able to catch up to Hunter Hart. We might see that battle shape up for that final podium position here pretty quick. But again, I'm still of the mindset this is still a battle for the lead, a four-way battle in my opinion.
Yeah, how many times have we seen this exact scenario, Rodney, this season of our riders? We're watching from the Yamaha live drone, and one rider gets stuck. I mean, we're not even into lap traffic yet. That's another thing we got to think about here in a moment, is that lap traffic that they're going to get into, and how many times have we seen that become a factor to where, you know, Walker gets stuck, and then Bryson gets around because of lap traffic. Vice versa. It just keeps on happening.
I tell you, it looked like a little bumper kissing going on there a few minutes ago when Bryson Neal pulled right up onto the rear wheel of rear grab bar, I should say, of Walker Fowler there. They were nose to tail literally whenever they came around that one tree section. So Walker Fowler certainly feeling the heat, certainly feeling the pressure. He knows Bryson Neal's back there. He knows Hart's back there, and I'm sure he's got an inclination that there is someone else lurking back there in that fourth place position we know as Austin Abney. Now, we haven't seen him in a few camera shots, but we know that he was lurking back there just a handful of seconds behind the number 7 now of Hart in that number 3 position as we near we should be coming up here pretty soon, I believe, on maybe not. No, we still got a few more minutes. Let me double check this. No, we should be getting close to the end of this second lap of racing, I believe.
It's kind of funny seeing them come onto Ironman Raceway, the motocross track. Folks at home, if you're watching tomorrow, guys might light up thinking, or if folks watching now, I should say, light up thinking, oh, they're going to race the moto track. And they just took that one corner and they were off of it. Like, we get to see Sipes on the moto track. And, oh, look at that, Rodney. This thing's tightening up. Bryson Neal wants it.
Yeah, alternate line choices there. Bryson Neal going for probably the less favorable line and trying to make up some time.
So waiting on our leaders to check through here. So again, very, very heated battle. Walker Fowler out in front, at least for the moment, but Bryson Neal, coming off of that win 2 weeks ago, is absolutely focused and fixed on Walker Fowler. He wants this win. He wants to go back-to-back. He knows if he wants to get back in this thing, he's got to get some wins and can't really worry about what else is going out on the racetrack. He just needs to win right now. So certainly Bryson Neal is putting himself in position to do it. And these guys are going to check in here with 2 laps completed. First full lap, but we don't want to confuse it. We're calling it 2 laps is what it is. So again, Walker Fowler out in front, Bryson Neal right behind him, a 2.5 back, and Hunter Hart sitting in that number 3 spot. Rodney, I think you had a quick important announcement.
Yeah, the pit crew of Zach Spillman needs to report to the finish line. Zach Spillman's pit crew, please report to the finish line. It looks like Abney has dropped back to at least the number 5 spot as we see a 15-second gap back to 4th place. John Glotta Jr. has checked in the number 4 spot. There's Adam McGill now in the 5th place position, and it looks like Abney maybe more troubles. And that might have been Glotta back there we were watching in that 4th place position. And regardless of whichever one it was, both those riders needing that kind of ride out there in this race here in Indiana. So tough break there for Abney, who was running in a top 3 position there early on in this Hoosier GNCC. Right now it's Fowler, Neal, Hart, John Glotta, Adam McGill, Cole Richardson in 6th, Jerry McClure in 7th, Chris Borich in 8th. Says now in the 9th place position is going to be Austin Abney, the 703, and Wesley Wolf rounds out your top 10. That is all XC1 pros. That is your overall currently. We'll get to see whether or not Steve Harrell will be able to maintain a top pace and a top 20 overall from the top amateur class riding. He's a college A rider, currently well checked in 13th place position there at the end of lap number 1, that short lap out of Windsor, New York, or excuse me, out of Elkridge, Maryland. Steve Harrell. Devin Feehan is out of Windsor, New York. That's whose information I read by mistake there. Out near the 1 mile marker. And, you know, the 1 mile marker and the 10 mile marker are pretty close together here. So I think this is a pretty great shot that we've got out here as far as dual shots that we're using at the GNCC today. We get them coming and going at the end of the lap and at the beginning of the lap. So we'll have a pretty good idea of how this now what we're called technically 3rd lap is going to be breaking down like. Is Walker going to put the hammer down? Is he going to try to stretch things out? Is Bryson going to?
So as we watch that, Rodney, one takeaway, I know the folks watching at home or folks here, even the Indiana fans rooting for Austin Abney out there, the rookie who was sitting in the number 3 spot after 1. I think you still got to hold your head high. 1, this thing is not over. 2, it's building blocks. I mean, that is such a thing. Good for him to be able to stay up there for the first lap and a half. There's Fowler on screen. And all over that rear wheel is Bryson Neal, and Hunter Hart refuses to let him out of his sights. So Hunter Hart charging on him right now. But honestly, good takeaway for Abney. It's building blocks. It's, hey, I was up front. I was running with those guys. I know I can run that pace now. So no matter where he finishes today, I got to believe Austin Abney is going to feel good about how he started this race. Regardless of where he finishes, there's definitely some building blocks for him. But right now, Walker Fowler out in front. B. Neal in the number 2 spot, looking for an opportunity, as is Hunter Hart. Boy, this one's absolutely heating up. Those top 3 riders really trying to roll right now and make something happen. So taking a look, there you go. Fowler out front, Neal 2nd, Hart 3rd. Glotta Jr., not talked about him too much, but Glotta Jr. sitting in the number 4 spot. He's another rider that really needs a good ride here today and sitting very well right now. McGill in the number 5 position.
Hey, we need the pit crew of Shale Stevenson also at the finish line, to the finish line. Once again, the pit crew of Shale Stevenson to the finish line. So, Mikey, crazy happenings already here as we've seen Neil make that pass on Hunter Hart. Beautifully executed, by the way, as we were closing up there at the end of lap number 2 now. Now, I guess we're showing lap number 2 we're on right now, and officially, I guess, lengthwise, that would be the case. If you're watching timing and scoring, we're on lap number 3 right now. But regardless, it's still going to be very exciting as we await these leaders here at this 1 mile marker. And folks...
I heart hot moms. That's what it sure said. I like it. Somebody out there just screenshot that, and they're going to tag them in that. I guarantee it. There you go. I love it. That's good.
Don't we all? I mean,
well, I can't say that because my wife is not a mom. She's a fur baby mom. We've got puppies, so there you go. I'll say that on there. There you go. How about that?
Fur mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What we got going on here, Mikey Waynes?
Riders ripping. The XC2 class, so I believe it is Ronnie Rush out in front.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Last I saw him, he was leading this one, and he's your points leader on the year, but I don't think I think it's been at least a round since he last won. Yeah, he was coming off 2 wins in a row, round 3 and 4, coming off a second-place finish. But he knows we actually got a chance to do a Tuesday Toolbox with Ronnie Rush earlier this season, and he talked about how deep the talent was. And he said when you look at the point standings, he's like, don't really, believe how some of these guys have finished. And he talked about guys like Brandon Owens, as well as Wyatt Wilkin, another guy who he said is a stellar rider that's just had some tough breaks.
Well, it sounds like, according to radio traffic, we're at the Monster Mile, and Walker Fowler appears to be in the lead of that one, trying to get some radio updates there just a second ago. Sorry about stepping on you there with Hollywood David Kripe out there, our spotter for our Racer TV crew. There we are at the Monster Mile now, as we pick the action up over, well, maybe not. Anyway, that's the not the 9 mile marker, but it's over there someplace. And anyway, 2 mile marker, that's it. That makes a lot more sense, considering this is only the 1 mile marker. All right, we'll get it all straight. Man, I cannot believe how beautifully sunny it is. Mikey, I heard you talking about cooler temperatures. You're telling a little bit of a fib, dude. It's starting to heat up out there.
It is, especially in this TV trailer. I'm at the shed.
Well, that's an indication of what it's starting to be like outside, too, because just before I came in, I heard you talking about that. I was like, yeah, you're right, Mikey, but it is starting to warm up. We're looking, they're talking about these 40-mile-an-hour gusts actually bringing in 80-degree temperatures by 6 o'clock this evening.
Yeah, it's definitely not getting any cooler.
Can you imagine being on an EMTB GNCC bicycle during this windstorm that's about ready?
No, about blowing over, and then next thing you know, you're in a sauna.
Those guys will probably see a matter of a couple of different seasons. There's some craziness anyway during the race. We'll just have to wait and see. But right now, folks, it is heating up out here right now. The winds are blowing. Are they winds have changed? That question remains to be answered as we were talking. XC2 Pro-Am, Ronnie Rush, Wyatt Wilkin, Ben Kowalewski running in the number 3 spot, Dylan Walraven in 4th, Kenny Schick in 5th, Tanner Walker in 6th, Daniel Peters in 7th. Max Lindquist from the AMA Pro ATV racing ranks is in the number 8 spot. Grayson Eller, also an AMA Pro ATV rookie this year, in 9th, and Nick Davidson rounding out the top 10. Now, Grayson's coming off injury from last year in the ATV Motocross National Championship, and right now Max Lindquist is on fire as rookie over there. So been pretty interesting watching this young man solidly 4th place positions throughout the season, and he starts out like he might get bumped back tonight, but he's going to be in 4th place, and eventually he'll be hitting podiums and challenging for wins in ATV MX. And I look for Grayson Eller to be making his climb up through those ranks as well here pretty soon. By the way, ATV Motocross will be at High Point Raceway the weekend of May 15th and 16th, so if you guys want to head on over there for that and make plans, please do so, because we are going to have a grand old time. There's no doubt about it, as Joel Hetrick brings the show home to Pennsylvania to try and take that Phoenix Racing Chaparral Yamaha to the top of the box. Now, speaking of Yamahas to the top of the box, that's what Fowler, Neil, and even Hunter Hart and John Glotta are all trying to make happen right now. Adam McGill, well, he's trying to take his Honda to the top of the box. He's up to a number 5 position right now. Now, McGill, coming off of a DNF from last race, had some illness issues. and had to drop out of the race. But the race before actually finished at Camp Coker in that number 3 position. So kind of still riding on that high, I think, from a couple of races ago.
Yeah, it's that was a heartbreaker last round for Adam. And I don't know if Mark is out here with us.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Okay, I hadn't seen him. So, Mustache, welcome back. I think he's goatee now. But regardless, good to have Mark McGill back out at the racetrack with us.
Hey, I see that Cole Richardson, a little sluggish start for that rider as he's back in 6th. Jared McClure 7th. Chris Borich has dropped to 8th. Now, Abney, as we said, in 9th. And looks like Wesley Wolf in that 10th place position, as we mentioned there a little bit ago. But I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit surprised that Cole Richardson's so far back. I'm not sure what's going on there. Must have been an early mistake on that first lap that took him back in the pack and just can't get up the pace right now. But if that train can get rolling, we better look out, because he's got some points to prove, and I think he's got some things to make up to himself and to his sponsors, and like I said, I think more than anything to himself right now.
Yeah, Cole Richardson is coming off 2 second-place finishes, and if you hear him talk about it, he feels like those should have been wins.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a guy that, when we mention guys that we think can win a GNCC in the XC1, he's definitely one of those top 3, definitely top 5 at the very least guys that can make it happen. So I'm honestly a little shocked that we're in round number 6 and we haven't seen a Cole Richardson win yet.
Wow, good shot of the creek down there and the terrain here. And I don't think I've ever seen these shots in any of the drone footage that we've had. And now just searching out for our riders and checking out the landscape, so to speak, if you will, Mikey Waynes. But look at that beautiful stream that runs through the property down there, and of course becomes a little bit of an obstacle for some of our riders if they have to cross a very shallow portion of the stream, but then it turns into mud for them once they get up out of there.
Yeah, that was one of the things Landon Wolf talked about this morning. He said, man, I thought I was going to have a duster out there, and I'm covered in mud. We found the low spots. We found the creek crossings for sure.
Man, how about Kevin Cunningham this morning?
Oh, yeah, that was a point I wanted to talk about earlier. Was I talked to him yesterday. I saw him pedaling the track, and I said, oh, Kevin Cunningham, I'll see you in 4x4 Pro tomorrow. He said, no, I dusted off the Sport Quad. I said, really? I said, well, what class you run? He said, well, Sportsman A. I was like, okay, well, fair enough. So his reasoning behind that, which, by the way, he did take the overall unadjusted time today in the AM.
I figured.
Ridiculous.
The dude is nuts, man.
But he said he's racing the IXCR on the 4x4 Pro with parts, how difficult they are to come by right now. He's like, I just didn't want to risk tearing something up.
I don't blame him.
He's like, but I still wanted to race the Hoosier GNCC, so dust off the Sport Quad. And I got to say, he rode by the podium during podium interviews, and he stopped me and he said, hey, Mikey, old man still got it. So he's still ripping, man.
I wonder how that made Landon and those guys feel.
I'm sure. I'm sure they talked. I hope they did.
Yeah, I know that that not having that, and I'm sure Landon had no idea what was going on there. Well, we're following what we think could be maybe our leader out there right now. I'm not 100% sure that it would be our lead. Wow, that little shake that we just saw was the wind starting to gust up. And as you can see, Mikey, watch the tops of these trees. And I'm amazed at how still the camera actually is on this drone. There, it's starting to get a little bit fancy on us. But watch those trees waving in the breeze. That gives you an indication of how the breeze is starting to pick up and starting to blow. And you know it's down there in the trees, what it's doing to that drone right now. So I'm sure we won't be able to keep that thing up much longer. So we're going to take full advantage of it while we still can. Look at the trees down in the forest floor. They're even starting to wave. Bryson Neal is your new leader here at the 5-mile marker. There is Hunter Hart, unless that was...
I think that was Walker we saw earlier.
That was way out ahead.
He's way... Well,
there's Walker.
I'm dead wrong.
You are dead wrong.
Dead wrong, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it.
Listen to me, son.
Right?
No, I'm with you. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but here's the thing, man. What happened to put Bryson Neal back in the number 3? Walker Fowler back in the number 3 spot, because both Neal and Hunter Hart got around.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2 right now, and If Hunter Hart, Bryson, you know what Bryson Neal's going to do. Now that he's out front, he is going to charge. He is going to push at a pace that even Walker himself has said several times this season, man, I'm just not comfortable running that pace that he's running. I kind of sit back, I wait and watch and see if something happens and look for an opportunity. So if Hunter Hart can hook up with Bryson Neal, they just might put a little bit of distance between them and the rest.
Well, Hunter's gaining more and more confidence as this season grows, no doubt about it. It looks like John Glotta Jr. also is beginning to stretch those big, long legs of his and see the confidence starting to grow as well, as we see him in a solid fourth-place position. You look not real far off the back pace of Walker Fowler, your third-place ride. There is a bit of a gap, but it's not huge. It's not monumental. But I'm sure with a few pit boards, a little inspiration could be given to the 712 of Glotta Jr. as well as the 521 of Adam McGill. Now, the big question back in my mind right now is what's going on with that number 3 of Cole Richardson right now. When he checked in, he was 17 seconds behind Adam McGill. Will he be able to bridge that gap up? Will he be able to challenge for a top 5 position here soon? Will we see anything happen there? And if not, again, you just got to question what's going on with the Cole train.
Yeah, Cole Richardson, where you at, man? Donde está? He's gonna have to put on. He's gonna have to turn up the Cole train and turn it on here late if he wants to fight for a podium position at this point. And these guys getting into the open field section here, and Bryson Neal doing his best Walker Fowler impression and finding some major speed in the open field section.
Well, we saw the speeds that Walker Fowler had through these sections, and we see that looks like Bryson Neal's got some pretty good speeds, and himself as Hunter Hart trying to keep that pace. The big question is, how far back is Hunter Hart? And I have to wonder, with as close as what Bryson Neal was, did he force Walker Fowler into another mistake? Now, that's become a kind of a tradition when he gets behind him anymore.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Walker sometimes maybe gets forced into positions and circumstances that he don't want to be in.
Right.
And he has to pull the trigger on him.
Neal into the pits.
Yep. So our pit stop.
Hunter as well, obviously.
Yep.
Otherwise, he'd have gotten around him.
So we're going to see exactly where Hunter Hart is on this. There goes, wow, out of the pits now goes the number 2 of Bryce Neal and Hunter Hart, and there is no sign of Walker Fowler.
But I did see, look like the little blue speck down there. I'm guessing that was Mark Notman waiting, so you got to think Walker Fowler going to be taking a pit stop as well. I'm sure we'll be able to see our man Nick V, in my opinion, the hardest working cameraman in the business. I want to get a shot of him today. I'm doing the GNCC Instagram story. My goal is to get a shot of Nick V at some point this weekend when he is in a dead sprint, because he'll video a pit stop, and he will book and run to the next pit to get the next shot. My goal is to get that. I'm going to hook you up, Nick V. But, yeah, I got to think Walker Fowler going to be in there for the pit. So hopefully Nick V's down there and we can see whether or not it's just fuel, goggles, and he's off and rolling, or if maybe something's going on with Walker Fowler.
Yeah, and to echo what you're saying, he is a very intense cameraman. He wants to get the shot.
It's no doubt. And look at this, Rodney, still no Walker Fowler.
Wow.
There he is.
Yeah, so big gap. Is that your 4th place ride of Glotta back there behind him?
So.
Man. So, I mean, Glotta's still a few seconds back, but that gap between that 2nd and 3rd place position, man, I have to wonder what did happen with Walker Fowler. I'm sure that, and look, that's just even closer than what I thought. John Glotta has got to be feeling pretty good right now, seeing that number 1 in his sights, thinking, wow, it's time to strike while the iron is hot. And you can see he's riding with vigor, and he's riding with vengeance, trying to catch up to that number 1. And what would it be to see this young sophomore challenging the 6-time champion for that 3rd place position? That would mean a whole lot as far as this championship is concerned. And those winds of change I talked about, hey, they're blowing right now.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's I kind of talked about it a little bit this morning because Johnny Gallagher featured on the event T-shirt this weekend. That kind of pays homage back to the X Factor GNCC where he got his win. This is our first round in Indiana this year. Kind of makes sense. But, you know, Johnny was talking about he kept Walker Fowler from that perfect season. He said the only perfect season that happened was Yamaha was perfect and Mark Notman was perfect. He's like, I stole the perfect season away from Walker. Walker has mentioned in the past couple of years that that's still a goal of his. He still wants to go out and try to get a perfect season. Man, I don't know, Walker Fowler. These guys, I mean, Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, John Glada now coming on, and you still cannot count out Adam McGill. You can't count out Cole Richardson, and Chris Borich still has something in the tank.
Oh, yeah, you have to believe it. You really have to believe that. And you see glimpses of it on occasion. And it just takes circumstances and situations to be right, the elements to be right. You know, what's funny is whenever Chris Borich and Walker Fowler began, and Walker Fowler's, I guess, championship tenure began, Chris Borich made that switch over to Yamaha that year. And on that next year, after Walker had won the championship, he goes back to the Suzuki, and he says, you know, the pace hasn't picked up that much. I remember all the controversy over all that pace, but I think if we go back now and reflect on Chris Borich's statement, oh, my friends, how wrong Chris Borich was when he said the pace wasn't picking up any. Because, my friends, it did then, and it has now. How much more can it pick up? You're going to have to stick around to find out, because I think it's going to hit a fever pitch today here in Indiana. It is Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, Walker Fowler, 1, 2, and 3, and John Glada Jr. trying to reel in the champ himself for that third. Can he make it happen? Stick around to find out. More from the Hoosier GNCC coming up here on GNCC Live.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida, where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees and you're doing 230s and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
Hi, how are you? I'm Brian from AMSOIL. Been a dealer for AMSOIL for the past 3 years or so. I've been around motorcycles all my life, and we've always run Dominator 2-stroke synthetic oil. The Dominator 2-stroke is a full synthetic oil that burns very clean, It helps keep the engine running cooler. It provides outstanding wear protection for your pistons, rings, valves. So it really does keep the engine clean internally. Keeps carbon buildup from forming in your head. So it will help your performance and longevity. We've got product here at GNCC, at Ironman, and feel free to come by and say hi to us.
And welcome back to And welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes as we are watching some action. There is your leader there, Bryson Neal, as he rolls through the third lap of racing. And of course back there still in that number 2 spot, kind of his shadow is that number 7 of Hunter Hart. So Hart looking for possibly another strong ride here in the soils of Indiana. Remember, he took a win as a rookie here at the Ironman GNCC a few years ago, and he's looking to repeat that glory here today in the Hoosier GNCC as Walker Fowler makes his way down the hill now and is across the creek and still laying chase to the front runners out here. And this is where we get a good visual of just how far back that 4th place ride of John Glotta Jr. is. And as you can see, still looking somewhere in that neighborhood of about 15 seconds back. So he's not really losing any time on the number 1 of Walker Fowler. So that's a good thing for the youngster there. And right behind him in that number 5 spot is Adam McGill, the 521 Gator, still pushing the envelopes out there and trying to make things happen. Your 6th place ride checking in now. I believe that is Cole Richardson. Richardson really not far off the pace. It's had him at 17 seconds behind McGill, but it looks almost like possibly that we see Cole Richardson has bridged that gap just a little bit now and has closed it up somewhat. That is going to make things a little more interesting possibly for the top 5 positions here if Richardson can reel them in a little bit. More riders checking in. I believe we've got Chris Borich checking in. We've got Austin Abney and Wesley Wolf. Also Jerry McClure in that mix of riders that should be checking in through right now. Mikey Waynes has made his way down toward VP Fuels Pro Row as he will be giving us a Monster Energy update. What's going to be taking place and what has taken place. What information he can get as far as what's going on with Walker Fowler, how he fell back to 3rd, and why he's so far back from the rest of the pack. Those questions and more should be answered here pretty soon as Mikey makes his way down there to VP Fuels Pro Row right now. Trying to keep up with some of the amateur racing. Don't forget, check out the Racer TV's rundown board there on the left side of the screen. So we'll keep up with a number of those classes. We'll be talking specifically about those classes coming up. Just to break down class by class. And something to point out to you, if you're new to GNCC and you've seen that red arrow there with that red and white stripe, the candy cane looking striping on the trees there, that is a new marker in the GNCCs this year. Those are areas that riders must ride between. It's kind of, I guess, in conjunction with the black and yellow stripe placards that we saw in the past. Now we see them as red and white. It is a little more indication, and these riders are now more prone to recognize that, and they must ride in between those sections. So when you see those, normally there's one on one side and one on the other. They must go between those sections, not around those sections. Otherwise, other areas of the racetrack, they have about a 25-foot range either side of the arrows to pick and choose their track from. There is your leader. That is Bryson Neal, still out front by himself. And that is Hunter Hart. He is not relinquishing much control at all. It says 9 seconds separating those two, and I'm going to say it's about that, maybe a little tighter than that, as we await now that 3rd place ride that we expect to be some, wow, it says 23 seconds back after that 3rd lap complete. They just checked in a few moments ago there. I didn't realize they checked in at the finish line, but yo, there we go. 25:19, 25:27, 25:54. That was your lap times for your top three, 25:19. That's a blistering fast pace. There goes Walker Fowler through right now, as we said, a 23-second gap. So that has opened up quite a bit back there to the number 3 position. John Glotta waiting on that rider to check in. He was 15 seconds behind Walker Fowler. Let's see where, well, I guess he's already checked in as I update my scores. 19 seconds, so he's lost a few seconds. Adam McGill only 3 seconds back of Glotta now. That was the last report, so we should be seeing that battle come through right now. Nope, that's not it. Or is it? That's somebody that's on a mission, though. Oh, that is Cole Richardson. That battle was just ahead of us. Sorry, I just missed it. I was looking at the scoring and monitor and missed that battle going through. But Cole Richardson, man on a mission right now. You can see he's rolling Cole, trying to make things happen out there. So we're out near this 1 mile marker of just under 11-mile race course. I think they said 10.8, 10.9 miles or something like that. So they called it 11. And that's what we're going to be going with, right around the 11 miles. And regardless of if it's 10.9 or 10.7, it is a grueling racetrack out here today, and one very, very different than an Ironman GNCC racetrack. From all that I can see, like Twin Hills, they're going down. Ironman Hill isn't even being utilized. A good portion of the track is being ran backwards. So these riders are not going to recognize this racetrack when they come back in the fall. Now, I'm sure some of these sections they may reuse if they fare well for them, as more riders checking in that XC1 class. Again, it's Neal, Hunter Hart, Walker Fowler, John Glotta, Adam McGill, Cole Richardson. We're seeing guys like Jared McClure, Chris Borch, Wesley Wolf, Devin Feehan, and Josh Merritt, and the guys checking in now as they battle for a top 10 in the overall, as well as top 10 in the XC1 Pro class. Let's see how things are faring now in that XC2 Pro-Am. Ronnie Rush after 3 still out front. Wyatt Wilkin in second. Ben Kowalewski is third, waiting on Walraven, Kenny Schick, and Tanner Walker. And there's your leader at the 2 mile marker, the Monster Mile. That is Bryson Neal, putting a clock on that one. Again, looking at a near 13-second deficit between those 2 riders. And there's 10, 11, 12, almost exactly the same. He may have gained a second or so there, but it's still that 12, 13-second gap between first and second. So it looks like Hunter Hart's not relinquishing much going on there as far as that first place position is concerned. So from mile 1 to mile 2, he's remaining pretty steady, dropping about 4 seconds, I believe it was, there from the finish line. Walker Fowler going through in the number 3 spot. Again, some 23 seconds back. Waiting on confirmation and word from the pits with Mikey Waynes and BP Fuels Pro Row. Find out what exactly has happened, if we can get what happened to Walker Fowler. There's Glotta going through by himself, still in the number 4 spot. Here comes Adam McGill. McGill had pulled to within 3 seconds of the 712 machine, but has dropped that pace back a little bit, it appears, as Glotta stretched his legs out some and put some distance between himself and the number 521. Cole Richardson going through as well. We saw there a moment ago. Jared McClure should be our next rider through on board the number 4 as far as XC1 Pro riders are concerned here at the Monster Mile. And if we look back at the gap on that one, it was about 25 seconds. So that should be him about right now. And there it is. We got our number 4, and it looks like we got a good battle going on back there. McClure and Chris Borich within just a couple of seconds of one another, running 7th and 8th place position, which should be bringing Wesley Wolf around the corner next here at the Monster Mile, mile number 2 here at the Hoosier GNCC. And if Wesley's remaining in that 9th place position, then he's staying pretty steady, along with Devin Feehan rounding out the top 10 of XC1 Pro Class riders. If you're wondering about Austin Abney, after that first lap run he had going, he's dropped back to the number 12 spot. Looks like another battle coming through, and that is Wolf and Feehan battling only a couple of seconds apart for that 9th and 10th place positions, and behind them Josh Merritt checking in as well. Abney should be coming in about 25 seconds behind Josh Merritt. Merritt, we've seen some pretty stellar performances out of him this year, not running a traditional as far as the season is concerned, as good a position as normal, but still trying to break into that top 10. It's still kind of early though, as we're just an hour over to this 2-hour near race that we have scheduled here this afternoon. 1 hour and 6, working on 1 hour and 7 minutes as we pick those leaders back up out in the open field sections. And lo and behold, Bryson Neal. Wow, that wind is starting to pick up. I can only imagine if there was someone actually riding in the drone, how much fun that could be. But so it looks like Mark Notman may be ready with Mikey Waynes down in the pits. Let's head on down and find out what's going on.
Yeah, thanks, Rodney. Down here with Mark Notman, I asked Mark, I said, man, Walker Fowler up in front, drops back to the number 3 spot. Pretty good gap between second and third, man. What's going on?
He come into the fuel stop, didn't really say a whole lot. You can tell he was frustrated. Maybe we missed a setup, not really sure. I don't know if something happened out on the track. He was a lot closer, and then when I caught him over at the one after the finish, I don't know if he got tangled up a lap or he lost some more time. So I think he's about 40 behind right now from Bryson, so hopefully we can make up a gap and at least get back up and battle Hunter for second.
There you go. We'll take it back to you, Rodney.
All righty. Thanks a lot. Valuable championship points for Bryson Neal. I know he's got a big hole to dig out of with a couple of DNFs on the season right now. And if you look at the big picture here as far as the overall scores is concerned, Bryson Neal's with 2 wins and a second place finish. Those are the only 3 finishes he's got right now. He has 85 points to Walker Fowler's 136. So we're about 50 points, 51 points or so behind if I'm doing quick math right. And if that be the case, wow, that is a major hole to dig out of. It's going to take some big problems for Walker Fowler, for Bryson Neal, or anyone at this particular point to be able to eclipse that points lead if Walker Fowler stays consistent and strong throughout the 2021 season as he has through these first 6 championships. But if nothing else, a great confidence building year once again for Bryson Neal. We saw a breakout season for him in the 2020 season, and this 2021 season I think is just a good foundation builder for him as he gets a few bugs in the system worked out. 2022 could be an all different season as far as this ATV championship is concerned, not only with Bryson Neal but with a rise in occasion to many of the other young riders that are moving up through the ranks and becoming forces to be reckoned with, including riders like Hunter Hart, John Glotta Jr., and of course some of the newcomers, including, I'm saying, Austin Abney is going to be a threat. I know that this season has not been the best of seasons as far as rookie seasons are concerned, but you got to cut your teeth someplace, and he's getting them cut, and he's going to have them sharp come round 1 in 2022, I'm sure. So the word is Bryson Neal about 40 seconds ahead of your 3rd place ride of Walker Fowler. All right, we're not sure. We're trying to sort out things here. We're looking at what we believe may be Hunter Hart on the camera right now. We'll get a better shot of this coming up here in just a few moments. But there's speculation now that there might be a little bit of a mix-up. But before we start speculating too much on that, we will wait for a ground shot where we can see a little better as to who that is actually leading up front. We think that might be Hunter Hart we're following right now on the Yamaha live drone through the woods edges out here. Hearing some radio traffic, stand by. All right, so waiting right now for complete confirmation, working on an hour and 11 minutes, and wow, that wind is starting to get tricky out there. And of course, here we go, 5 mile marker, I believe, is where we're at, and that is Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal still on point out front, and this should be Hunter Hart coming through in that number 2 position now, as we're seeing that gap opening up there a little bit, but not nearly what we've been seeing. So yeah, that was Hunter Hart we were following in the number 2 position. And no, that is not the number 3 position, hot on the wheels of Hunter Hart. So we'll be waiting for just a few moments there before we see the number 1 machine making his way through, of Walker Fowler, still expected to be in that 3rd place position, some 20 or so seconds behind Hunter Hart. So should be about any time we should be starting to see the number 1 machine peeking through the trees, and I think I'm getting a glimpse of the white helmet. Yeah, there it is, Walker Fowler in that number 3 position, making his way through the halfway point of this 4th lap of racing here at an hour and 12 minutes now into the race. Looking down through the, well, let's check the overall right now. We haven't talked a lot about the overall. Looks like XC1 dominating the top 10 overall right now as we look at that. So to go back to our XC2 Pro-Am class, 13th place overall, Ronnie Rush, your leader of the class. And then in the 15th place overall, Wyatt Wilkins. 16th is Ben Kowalewski. Kenny Schick is 17th. Tanner Walker in 18th. And Junior A 22 plus class leader Jay Shadron from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, running 19th overall. Johnny Gallagher, his threat of a top 20 ride may be in trouble here today, because normally Johnny Gallagher finishes top 20 overall all the time, at least somewhere in there, and he's currently running in 20th overall on board the number 13. So got his work cut out for him, as Bryson Neal's got his work cut out for him. A little ways ahead there, trying to maintain that number 1 position and keep the rest of the field from tracking him down. Hart, Walker Fowler, John Glotta, Adam McGill, your top 5 as we watch Bryson Neal here rolling through these soon-to-be freshly planted soybean fields of Indiana. So going past the mulch pile, which is our FMF power point during the Ironman GNCC, we bypass that. We bypass Ironman Hill. A lot of elements are different here than what they are at Ironman. So again, going to be a different race. And look at this. Neal trying to manipulate some lap traffic, is able to get around, but not as quickly as he'd hoped, but not a lot of time lost there. These are the times and moments in the pit crew's life, I think, that are the hardest, when your rider is out front and he is just working his way through that traffic, and he comes up on lap traffic like that. You know that your breath is held just a little bit in hopes that no mistakes are made by your rider, or no mistakes are made by the lap rider that your rider is trying to get around. Heading face forward into the wind on the Yamaha live drone right now. And now down into the pits, we see Hunter Hart getting the pit board there. Our leaders due in, by the way, in about 8 minutes and 23 seconds, if you're counting. Mercy, that wind is getting strong up there. There is Walker Fowler. Keep calling him Hunter, but Walker Fowler making his way through in that number 3 position. As we said, the gap really opening up. Walker Fowler, I'm sure, in a pit position and situation right now, we're just maintaining a podium position finish here today, and protecting those valuable championship points as much as possible. He knows as well as anybody that consistency could be, at this point, what it's going to take to win this championship if Bryson Neal catches on fire and stays lit the entire season and becomes the force to reckon with that Walker doesn't want to have. But all at the same time, other riders are on the rise as well. Evidence in the fact that Hunter Hart running second. John Glotta in that number 4 position here today. And we see old Joe Borch there waiting on his rider coming through. Let's see what kind of signals we give to these riders. No senses of urgencies for these pit crews right now. I think they're just kind of playing the waiting game, see if their riders need anything, fresh bottle of water, maybe some fresh goggles, gloves. It's drying out there, so there's a pretty good chance there shouldn't be needing a whole lot. Most, if not all, actually pitting there a little bit ago at near the 1 hour mark, or just before the 1 hour mark, and that should get them to the finish line. See if pitting strategies might come in. I doubt they'll have to, because that first lap was such a short lap, and these other laps aren't that long either, so I don't expect that it'll be a two pit stop race by no stretch of the imagination, as your leaders make the way past the FMF power point. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, I believe this is the downhill section of Twin Hills, which is just over behind the starting line here at the 8 mile marker. And this traditionally is a very popular uphill section. And it seems like I can recollect that maybe this was a downhill section one time before in previous years that I can recall. But obviously Twin Hills not giving much problems for these riders on the downhill side of things, or none of these downhills have so far, even if this isn't Twin Hills. There goes Walker Fowler through at the FMF power point now. And again, as we have 3 laps solid here, we've talked a lot about the XC1, the XC2, Ronnie Rush, Wyatt Wilkin, Ben Kowalewski checking in 3rd, Kenny Schick in 4th, Tanner Walker in 5th, Dylan Walraven in 6th, the XC2. Daniel Peters is in at number 7 spot. Max Lindquist in 8th, Grayson Eller 9th still after 3 laps, and Nick Davidson rounding out your top 10 in that one. Brandon Owens has not completed a 2nd or 3rd lap, only completing that first short lap of 6:15. Remember, he had the problems on the starting line, started some 5 or so minutes behind the rest of the field, or actually the last row out there. I was pretty impressed with his ability to catch up to just being 6:15 behind his row there, but as this race wears on, I have to wonder if something more happened. That machine would not start, then it fired like nothing was ever wrong with it, and they didn't do anything to it, so whatever it was could have happened again. But Ronnie Rush got some wins under his belt this year and looking for another one here. As we look at that college class a little bit, these are some of the riders that we expect to maybe be battling for an overall top amateur. Nathan Dearborn out of Davis, West Virginia. Corey Vanderliner out of South Salem, Ohio on the 805. And Keaton Henderson, they're running 1, 2, and 3 in that class. And that Junior A class is another one that I think we need to keep an eye on. Jay Shadron out of Mount Pleasant, PA, 4 minutes 20 seconds ahead of Alex Elioff on the number 317. Gavin Jenkins is 3rd on the 510. He was 29 seconds back. So I have to think that Alex and the guys might be a little far back as far as top amateur overalls are concerned. So we'll check and see where everyone sits now, as we got a look at what some of our key players, or we expect our key players to be classes from. But Jay Shadron is 19th overall, so he is leading the amateur overall right now. And College A leader Nathan Dearborn is 25th overall, with Corey Vanderliner, the 805, 26th overall. That would put him as 3rd top amateur overall as we roll through this race day today. Now back to the action on screen. You're near the 8 mile marker. And of course, folks, don't forget, more great racing tomorrow. Now, we won't be televised, but if you're within the vicinity and you want to come watch Travis Pastrana race GNCC, he will be racing the 10 o'clock race tomorrow morning. He and Ryan Sipes are going to be coming in town tonight and be here first thing tomorrow morning. They will start a week-long extravaganza of fun times on motorcycles. What Ryan Sipes pretty much already set the standard doing the flat track there tonight. Down south, they'll be hitting tomorrow here, then they'll pick up Becca Sheets and I believe Corey Steeden heading to the Pit Bike World Championships and a couple of other places throughout the course of the week. So it looks like those girls are going to have a pretty good time, along with Travis Pastrana and Ryan Sipes making their way to the Hoosier GNCC and just kicking off a big week of exciting things in their careers and in their lives. Leaders due in for lap 4 complete in less than 2 minutes right now. There is your leader at the Monster Mile. That is, should be coming close to the conclusion, I believe, of this lap, unless that mile marker is right, and it is the 2 mile marker. But leaders going through there, as we said, Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart. Should be seeing Walker Fowler coming through as well. See if there's any. This is where we get to see. There's Hunter Hart, man. Hunter's a little further back than what I expected to see. So, wow. And look at that. No, that wasn't. I don't think that was Walker Fowler that close to Hunter Hart. Could have been, though. Let's see here. There's a rider in between them. Rider that I was looking at there. And yeah, I believe that is Walker Fowler. Walker Fowler is now behind, literally, Hunter Hart, and that gap between first and second has opened up well over that 10-second mark. So we're probably looking at closer to 20 to 25 seconds, maybe a little further back to Hunter Hart from Bryson Neal, and Walker Fowler bridging that gap up to second place. So the battle is about to be on for that position. As we said, should be nearing the completion of lap number 4 here in mere moments. According to timing and scoring, due in about 30 seconds. We'll be waiting on these riders at the 1 mile marker. And there is Bryson Neal at the 1 already. Maybe that's the 10. I think that's the 10. Sorry about that. But we are due in any time now, so we should be approaching that finish line for Bryson Neal. We'll get a pretty good idea of what these times are looking like. Neal had a 9.4 second lead over Hunter Hart at the end of lap number 3 and 23.7 seconds back to Walker Fowler. Reports from Mark Notman said that Fowler was as much as 40 seconds behind Bryson Neal at one point on this lap. And there's Bryson Neal now ahead of Hunter Hart, so that position has been changed, and now Walker Fowler's got his head down and charging and trying to lay chase to the trail that Bryson Neal leads behind. Better hope he's a good cold tracker, because Bryson Neal's got a big gap going on right there. And it is Bryson Neal in with a 26-minute flat lap time, 26.7. And now we wait on Hunter Hart and, Walker Fowler, I believe now, who has taken over point on second. And then Hunter Hart in the number 3 spot, unless I read that wrong. Let's see, there comes our leader. No, that's not our leaders coming in now, but should be coming in now for second and third. Their white flag is out, by the way, so we are on the final lap of racing. There is Walker Fowler in 29.9, so we'll call it 30 seconds. He's gained about 10 seconds on Bryson Neal. 25.57. He was 3 seconds faster than Bryson Neal on that lap, so that's a good indication for him. 26.23 for Hunter Hart as he drops to the number 3 position, and a solid ride by the youngster from Newfield, New York, as he stakes his claim now in that top 3 of GNCC racing at the midway point of this 2021 season. John Glotta Jr. should be our next rider through as far as pro riders are concerned, but nope. Up from 6, it's the Cole train. We told you he was rolling Cole. Cole Richardson, the number 3, up to a 4th place position now, only 31 seconds back, and the fastest lap of the fastest rider on that lap at 25.54, 3 seconds faster than even Walker Fowler. So way to go, Cole. Cole is really coming on, but it might be too little too late. We start doing the math, that puts him about 1 minute and 5 seconds behind Bryson Neal, but only about 33 seconds behind Walker Fowler at this particular point, and about 31.5 seconds behind Hunter Hart for a possible podium position. So this final lap of racing is going to get very interesting as far as this XC1 Pro class is concerned here at the Hoosier GNCC. Big questions right now. Can Bryson Neal hang on to this lead? 30 seconds he's got the buffer zone with. Has Walker Fowler been fired up enough? Is he going to put the head down and make the charge? Or will he settle for second here today, managing those valuable championship points as he rolls toward his 7th championship in ATV GNCC racing? One hour and now 26 minutes as we approach the 1 hour 30-minute mark. And if we start doing times there, that should put us just over the 1 hour and 45-minute mark, 1 hour 40-minute mark, somewhere in that neighborhood, which will be interesting there at the Yamaha section. Is your leader going through, getting by some lap traffic rather easily, honestly. I'm sure that rider's been waiting on the number 2 or the number 1 or one of those red background number plates to come through to give them a little bit of breathing room. Yes. So we're waiting now. There is Walker Fowler. I keep calling him Hunter Hart. Walker Fowler, then Hunter Hart in the number 3 spot. Man, I got to tell you, I think that's closer than 30 seconds, honestly. Walker Fowler was 29 seconds. He was 40, down to 29.9, and I got to think that that might be a little tighter. Again, we know that, you know, Bryson is hitting that lap traffic first, but it seems like they're getting out of his way pretty quickly as well. What will be the tale of this tape? How will this story end? Will Walker Fowler track down Bryson Neal and take his own shots on him? Well, I can only stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young, and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
Brown's RV Superstore is family-owned and operated and stake their reputation on offering you the finest RVs available in their McBee, South Carolina RV dealership. Brown's RV Superstore carries motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and toy haulers, and keep a huge inventory of new and used RVs in stock for you to choose from. They offer top dollar for your RV trade-in and help you get the RV financing you need. As a part of the GNCC family, Brown's RV Superstore, in partnership with Vengeance Toy Haulers, offers sponsorship packages for every level of racer with discounts and continued savings on your new toy hauler. Brown's RV Superstore has dedicated themselves to complete customer satisfaction, specializing in providing a positive start to your RV adventure. They look forward to customers coming back to share their tales from the road. Call Brown's RV Superstore today at 877-805-3658 or visit their website at brownsrvsuperstore.com, where family fun begins. The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best of the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2021 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort June 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elite to instruct in-depth courses and fundamentals of racing and riding.
During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis, with limited openings evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, contact Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. It was October 24, 2010. New Zealand and Yamaha's Paul Whibley was the defending champion, and Caleb Russell was making his XC1 Pro Racing debut. Grabbing the hole shot and the early lead in his first time on the front row, Caleb Russell was followed by riders like Paul Whibley in second. Corey Buttrick on board the number 8 in the number 3 position. Also riders like Chris Bach, Thad Duvall, Glenn Kearney, Jimmy Jarrett, and even Ampro Yamaha's Barry Hawk. On lap 1, Yamaha's Whibley was able to track down and pass the young Russell, who would eventually DNF after waterlogging his bike in this tip-over while crossing the creek. Once snagging the lead, Whibbs put his head down and pushed forward, posting a 46-second lead on lap number 1. After a mid-race skirmish with Charlie Mullins, Whibbs dropped back to the number 2 spot at the end of lap number 5 of a 7-lap race. However, by race's end, Paul Whibley had moved his Yamaha into a near 1-minute lead, snagging the Ironman win in 2010. And that's this week in Yamaha history. Wow, what an amazing finish there for Paul Whibley, taking the win there that day and defending that number 1 plate. Of course, I believe Josh Strang ended up winning the championship that year, or one of those other riders did, and he came up just a little bit short, but nonetheless got the season-ending win and put the exclamation point on it. And, of course, Caleb Russell making his pro racing debut that weekend. We saw how that went, but we also saw how the rest of the story goes with 8 championships consecutively following. Well, he had a 2011 season that he was a little, I think, been out on, but it wasn't long before Caleb started taking some wins, and next thing you know, he started winning championships. And speaking of championships, right now, Bryson Neal may not be on target for a championship as far as points go, but the way he's riding, he's certainly appearing to bring that to the forefront. That is in his heart and on his mind, but he's got a big gap to fill, some 50-plus points, I believe, if I count him back right now. So, you know, basically it's a managing game for Walker Fowler from this point, and it's I got to win every race here for Bryson Neal, I think, is the way he's looking at it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Rodney. It's one of those okay, he's getting around lap traffic there. I thought it was as a pass, just lap traffic. Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're Bryson Neal, he talked about this, after round 4, where he had another bad race. And he said, you know, I was very frustrated for about 3 or 4 days. And then I finally kind of sat down and had a coming to Jesus moment of like, hey, all right, I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to try and click off wins. I want to carry some momentum and go into the off season on a high note. So, you know, it's not to say that the season's over for him. It's definitely not. Anything can happen.
Yeah, Walker Fowler's got 9 more fingers he could cut off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's one of those things for Bryson. It's a building block.
It is.
You know?
And I say that, and I probably shouldn't have said that, because that happened in the offseason last season for Walker Fowler, and it kind of set things in a tailspin for him. But at the same time, it really it gave, I think, new life to this championship and this ATV battles. And it gave confidence confidence to a couple of riders, including Bryson Neal and Cole Richardson, that they could win. And they've been trying, and they've been fighting consistently race after race after race to make that happen. By the way, want to mention the weather. It is heating up out there.
Yeah, it's toasty.
We're into the about 73-degree range, I think, right now, which when we started this race, we were probably about 10 degrees or more cooler.
With a breeze.
With the breeze. The breeze is what made it cooler, I think, more than anything.
Getting a little hung up right there in the creek crossing, but getting through there nonetheless. And Ronnie, I got to think that's something as a rider. If you're out there in the elements and you start racing and it's, maybe 60 degrees and breezy, and then by the end of your 2 hour, it is now 80 degrees and no breeze. And it's just this stagnant air. That's probably got to mess with the body a little bit. You get kind of acclimated to how it is, and then it's like, okay, I know I'm going to heat up as this 2 hour race goes on, but my goodness, I'm really, really heating up.
Well, I'll tell you, you say that, and it is just a light breeze out there right now. By comparison, we saw the drone footage and stuff, and I don't think it was a real indication as to what, you could see happening. But those guys were probably feeling those breezes and those gusts. That they were coming. You could see them in the treetops and things of that nature. But, hey, they've ridden through it, and like you say, the temperature's starting to warm up. This race is heating up all at the same time as Walker Fowler has established himself solidly into that number 2 position, still trying to lay chase to Neal with Hunter Hart back in the number 3 spot. Richardson and Glotta rounding out the top 5. McGill's dropped off to 6th. Jared McClure in the 7th place position. Chris Borch is 8th. 9th is Devin Feehan. Wesley Wolf rounding out the top 10 in class. And I believe that is for overall as well. As far as the XC2 Pro-Am class, looks like Ronnie Rush is running the 13th place position, and Wyatt Wilkin is running in the 14th place position. But look back there in the 15th place position. Junior A 22-plus class leader Jay Shadron is running 15th place overall right now.
He's rolling. He's rolling. I know there was some internet chatter between Jay Shadron fans and Kevin Cunningham fans, because Kevin Jay Shadron better pack a lunch today.
Oh.
So then they kind of went back and forth. And then, of course, it was all for fun because, as we know, Kevin Cunningham was running Sportsman A. So
right.
Jay may be a statement race for him out here like, oh, I packed my lunch, and I packed my bike, and I packed my skills. So there you go.
That would be interesting. Maybe we should get those two together. Maybe we can get them to race against each other at Ironman.
That'd be all right. That'd be all right. At that point, let's do it. I knew Kevin Cunningham would do well this morning on the Sport Quad, but it had been so long since he was on it, I wondered whether or not he could fight for an overall, and man, he did it.
Well, Jay Shadron, if you don't know who Jay Shadron is, he is a rider that worked his way through the youth ranks.
Yes.
He and his sister Cheyenne, and he worked all the way into the XC1 Pro class, and he had a couple of seasons in the XC1 Pro class. Nothing really stellar. Never made any real statements or anything, but like it happens to so many people in that age frame, life took over and started going the other direction. So his focus went away from racing and went into other things. He spent probably 3 years away from GNCC racing or better before we ever saw him come back. And when he comes back, he's riding in this Junior A class. And, man, it don't look like he's lost a lot.
Right. Yeah, no, he looks like he had hardly skipped a beat.
Yeah, so way to go, Jay Shadron, running top 15 right now out of Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. And that is our top amateur right now. Speaking of amateurs, Adam, would now be a good time?
I take that as a yes, baby.
All right, so we got a good battle going on, but now with this race near close at about 12 minutes or so left to go, 10 minutes left to go, a quick check of our amateur rundown. Might be able to do that for you as we watch these leaders work in and amongst themselves through these field sections out here, Mikey Wayne.
Going for the pass.
Yeah, let's watch this for just a second. A big part, 95% of the GNCC Racing Nation is made up of amateur riders, Mikey Waynes, and of course that includes everything from XC2 Pro-Am on back, and Ronnie Rush leading that XC2 Pro-Am with Wyatt Wilkin in second, Kenny Schick in third, Tanner Walker in fourth, and Ben Kowalewski in the number 5 spot. As we take a look at the College A class, Nathan Dearborn from Davis, West Virginia, after 4 had a 17-second lead over the 805 of Corey Vanderliner out of South Salem, Ohio. Then also with 4 laps complete, former top youth rider Keaton Henderson out of Wattsburg, PA, another 17 seconds back in the number 3 spot. We see, oops, I switch classes there. Dalton Keys in the number 4 position. Cameron Abey out of Union, South Carolina, rounding out the top 5. In the College B class, Damon Greishop out of Batesville, Indiana, I believe got the early lead in this class, running the lead over the 126 of Paxton Dickerson out of Vevey. Glen Easton, West Virginia, home to 3rd place ride to 334 of Colton Dobbs. 4th place Chance Hickey out of Middletown, Delaware. And 5th place John Ashcraft, the 440 from Goshen, Ohio. As we look at Jay Shadron leading the Junior A 22-plus class, Alex Alioff in the number 2 spot aboard the 317, some 7 minutes, 21 seconds back. Gavin Jenkins, the 510, in 3rd out of Laurelville, Ohio. Ryan Thompson out of Summertown, Tennessee, is 4th. Jeremy Ladon out of Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, rounds out the top 5. Shane McMillan leading in that Junior B 22-plus class. Cody Ballsback out of Greensburg, Indiana, is 2nd. Nick May from Monongahela, Pennsylvania, 3rd. Zach DeNoble out of St. Clairsville, Ohio, 4th. And Ethan Heilberg out of Freedom, Pennsylvania, in the number 5 spot. Jeff Pickens is leading that. There you go. Hitting the wrong buttons here.
Oh.
What's going on?
Well, on screen, Bryson Neal now just having he's having a little bit of some issues with some lap traffic, but able to get around him right there. I think our lapper got a little panicked. He said, I don't know if you're going left or right. I'm trying, but Bryson Neal makes quick work of him. He has had his work cut out for him, though, Rodney. A lot of lap traffic here in this
No doubt. That might be some saving grace for Walker Fowler as we continue to watch this battle wane down. About 8 minutes left to go now. Jeffrey Pickens leading the Bet A 30-plus class over Brad Whitehead, the 29 machine out of Pennsylvania. Then the 807 Michael Lancaster from Morgantown, West Virginia, is 3rd. Dirk DeCesar out of Mineral Ridge, Ohio, the 61, and 4th. Luke Reeves out of Statesville, North Carolina, rounds out the top 5. Vet B class, Ben Dunlap out of Greenville, PA, the 383, leading that one. The 842 of Ryan Leckrone out of New Lexington, Ohio, less than a second behind at the end of 3, was 2nd, and lap times indicating that Ben Dunlap had just made the pass on Ryan Leckrone there, so that good battle. Probably still a heated one. 742 Tim White in the number 3 spot out of Cutler, Ohio. Northeast Maryland is home to David Kite, the 48, and 4th, and Dakota Coombs out of Evansville, Indiana, rounds out the top 5. And Brian Shaw leading the Senior A class with Chris Conklin, a 719 out of Sistersville, West Virginia, in 2nd. Jeremy Reeves out of Carthage, Indiana, is 3rd. Mark Batson out of LaSalle, Michigan, in the 4th place position. And the Marlboro man, 723, Mark Batson, Todd Moscato, is out of Uniontown, PA, rounding out the top 5. I'm trying to get through the Senior B class. Scott Wilhelm out of Carmichael's, PA. Jason Limley, the 179, in 2nd. Out of Mount Morris, PA, home to High Point. Chad Judy out of Elkins, West Virginia, in 3rd. Richard Sievers out of Negley, Ohio, in 4th. And Ivo Pahalik out of Holmes, New York, rounds out the top 5. That's your amateur rundown, top 5 in all of our classes quickly as we approach the conclusion of this race today. Mikey Waynes, and we're watching still on our Yamaha live drone, Bryson Neal working his way through these trees as well as lap traffic at these soils of the Ironman Raceway for the Hoosier GNCC.
Well, if we know anything this season, we go to Big Buck. Bryson Neal wins Big Buck. We go back to Big Buck for the Tiger Run. Bryson Neal wins Tiger Run. So maybe this means Bryson Neal, if he can take a win here today, will come back at Ironman. He'll get the win here.
Wow.
That'd be 4 wins on the year, at least, maybe more. But he's, in all seriousness, he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the only thing he can do. He can only go out and ride his race and only hope for the best on what happens behind him. Even though Walker Fowler has a near bulletproof program,
for sure,
there are times that things can happen. And there are times when...
That wasn't the pass, was it?
I don't believe it was.
I think like a rocket ship, that might have been Walker getting out in front of him as we're talking about it.
Wow.
Maybe. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll get a replay on that one just to make sure what's going on. But somebody got around somebody right there.
I could be. There goes a bird. That also scared me to death. I thought, hey, these ATVs are moving so fast, they're taking flight right now. Goodness.
A specialized rapid replay. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on there.
So there is Bryson. from what I understand. I don't.
May not be Bryson, though, guys. I'm not 100% sure that's Bryson right there. Because Walker was quite a bit farther. That right there, I believe. Yeah.
I need a closer shot.
Yeah.
This bird's. Okay. A glitch in the matrix. That explains why I saw that bird. Now, if I see that bird twice, now we know we got a glitch.
So, this is the excitement of GNCC. Even with our TV coverage, sometimes things get by us, and we wait in anticipation to see exactly what is going to be going down here. Is Bryson Neal still out front? Did something happen, and Walker Fowler able to eclipse him and make that pass out there and pull off what we consider maybe a near impossible move here today? Because that gap that Bryson Neal had going into this final lap was pretty substantial at 30 seconds nearly, but we saw it chipping away early on too. So hey, you never know, especially like you said, having problems with those lap traffic riders when we were watching. So it's getting down to the nitty gritty right now. We are due in at the finish line in about 4 minutes, Mikey.
I better roll. There you go. That was it then. Yeah. Wait. Okay, never mind. Producer's saying otherwise.
Oh. Okay, so we're getting asked questions. So there are more questions on the race course as to who is out front. Is it Bryson Neal? Is it Walker Fowler? Did something happen to Bryson Neal, or did we just miss him? Walker Fowler, though, running like a scalded dog, as I like to say, is certainly running like he is either trying to chase somebody down or trying to get away from someone right now, and likely that could be both things happening simultaneously as we wait patiently here at the 9-mile marker for our leaders and confirmation as to who is on their way to what looks like an inevitable win here at the inaugural running of this Hoosier GNCC. Bryson Neal still out front. According to reports, we should be seeing him come around the corner any moment now, and there is the number 2. The Bidwell Bullet is just moving that fast, folks. We haven't been able to keep up with him. There is Bryson Neal in the number 1 spot, and he does not look to be challenged any whatsoever. As we watch him work his way through this monster mile, he looks over. Who does he see? Well, I'm going to say maybe Walker Fowler, but maybe not, because that gap is still pretty wide, plus 20 seconds now, and still working on that 30 seconds that we were looking at the end of lap number 4 when we went into this white flag lap of lap number 5 now. 1 hour, 47 minutes, working on 42 minutes into this race, and here comes Walker Fowler now as that gap is back down to nearly 40 seconds between first and second place position with just a couple of miles left to go. We're anticipating and expecting that Hunter Hart would still be your third place position rider, but again, Hart had fought well. Hart was only a couple of seconds back, so that may have been him we saw coming through there a moment ago, or that going there now. And other riders that we can expect to see would be Cole Richardson, the number 3, which should be a rider coming through here pretty soon as well, if he hasn't already come through. Got a little choppy in there. I might have missed one. We're at the 10-mile marker now. This is getting closer to this finish line and closer to the second consecutive win, and win number 3 of the season for Bryson Neal. Neal making his way through this final creek crossing here and into the home stretch. On his way to win number 3 of the 2021 season, and just his 4th finish of the season at the same time, finishing second, and the rest of the races, mechanicals and DNFs, have taken him out of the points championship race, at least at the moment. Some 51 points down and gaining 5 points today, which should put him somewhere in the neighborhood of 46. It's going to take a lot more work on his part and a lot of bad luck on the part of Walker Fowler to not stay consistent this season for Bryson Neal to bridge that gap. But he's starting right now, chipping away as he takes the win here at the 2021 Hoosier GNCC. It's win number 4 for Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal got to be pretty stoked about that one, as Walker Fowler will be checking in here in just a few moments in that number 2 position. I'm sure somewhat frustrated, but at the same time somewhat confident in the ability to be able to make up the time that he made up on Hunter Hart to secure that second place position here today, and to also secure a few extra points in the battle as far as the championship points race is concerned. Still no sign of Walker Fowler here at the finish line as we anticipate about a 40-second deficit. And there he is there as we speak. And that's just exactly what it was, 39.6 seconds. Walker Fowler in the number 2 spot, checking in with us now. And Hunter Hart should be our next rider through as far as XC1 Pro Class riders are concerned. And there he is, 10 seconds back. So our podium today will be Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, and Hunter Hart going 1, 2, and 3 on the day. And meanwhile, while that battle winds down, Pro-Am XC2 riders, Ronnie Rush, Wyatt Wilkin, Kenny Schick, all working their way in. Get this. We had 1 second separating Ronnie Rush and Wyatt Wilkin, the 7:14 and the 6:21 at the end of lap 4. Kenny Schick was 12 seconds back, and less than a second behind him was Tanner Walker. So we had a pretty big battle going on. Ben Kowalewski was 4 seconds back in 5th. So 5-way battle going on right now for the XC2 Pro-Am top 5 overall, and only a second separating first and second. Those guys are not due in for another 7 minutes, so that's what kind of pace our leaders up front we're checking in with in that XC1 Pro class now. So we'll bump back up into that one for a few moments. Let you know that Cole Richardson has checked in 44 seconds back in the number 4 position. And looking for, looks like John Glotta Jr. likely to take that 5th place position, as it sounds like Mikey Waynes has got him ready down in the winner's circle right now as we check in and find out from the horses themselves just exactly how this race broke down. Mikey?
Yeah, thanks, Rodney. Yeah, down here with Bryson Neal, man. Quite simply put, you're doing what you need to do. Makes it now 2 wins in a row, man. Tell us about it.
Oh, man, this one today, I almost said Iron Man, you know, this Hoosier track today. Okay, this Hoosier track today was unlike anything else. It was really tough. It was really demanding. A lot of kickers and square edge bumps, a lot of deep berms, and it had a lot of grabby-fied ruts that would just want to jerk the bars out of your hand. So it was definitely a demanding track, and the Elko suspension, CST tires, Hauser Racing components, man, they ate it up. I was just fortunate enough. I got a pretty good start. Cole got sideways. I got backwards about after turn 3. I went backwards after a pretty good start, and was able to march my way forward. I got to Walker. I made the pass, and I don't know if he made a mistake, but I took a glance behind me in the field section a couple miles later, and I saw Hunter in the distance. So I just put my head down and tried to ride clean laps. The last 2 laps was a little hectic. I was getting worried because, man, the lap riders, I was catching them in like groups of 8 to 10 people, and I was cutting the track up left and right. I was having to get off the main line a lot, and I was losing time, and I'm just happy I was able to secure this win today.
Well, Bryson, big congratulations to you, man. You mentioned earlier this season, obviously a couple rounds this year you'd rather forget about, but you kind of refocused, man. I got to think that focus, whatever change you made, it's working. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, man. You know, we had those 2 tough breaks, and we took it on the chin, and we said, you know what, we're going to come back and try to keep the same mindset that we had before that stuff happened and act like it never did. And you know, we was able to get the win last race. We got the win today, and the next race is our hometown in Athens, Ohio, and man, we're looking forward to it. We can't wait to get there. Got a 2-week break. You know, I'm going to go home, put in a lot of work, and try to get 3 in a row. You know, I try my best.
There you go. Congratulations to Bryson Neal. And Rodney, I got to tell you, man, if Nick looked to the right of Bryson Neal, these yellow shirts, we're going to see a lot of those here in a couple of weeks at the John Patton.
No doubt about that, and rightfully so. Congratulations to Bryson Neal. And, of course, be looking for an episode of Quad Radio with him leading into the John Pinton GNCC here in a few weeks. But nonetheless, right now, friends and GNCC family members, we are waiting as much as anything, not only to talk to Walker Fowler and Hunter Hart, but I'm curious to see how the rest of this field is going to pan out. Cole Richardson taking 4th, John Glotta Jr. in 5th, Jared McClure in 6th, Chris Boritz checking in the number 7 spot, Adam McGill dropping back to 8th, Devin Feehan in 9th, and old WW Wesley Wolf rounds out the top 10. Looks like Josh Merritt, Austin Abney will go 11 and 12, and we still wait on the XC2 Pro-Am class riders while we ready ourselves to talk with our defending champion and 2nd place position rider today, Walker Fowler, who is with our own Mikey Waynes down here at the Specialized Winner's Circle. And we'll get a word in with him in just a moment right now. And also Hunter Hart, I'm sure pretty stoked about the way things went for his day. A little more than 3.5 minutes. Ronnie Rush, Wyatt Wilkin, Kenny Schick, Tanner Walker, Ben Kowalewski will have the top 5 sorted out in the XC2 Pro-Am. I'm telling you, folks, be expecting some pretty good excitement coming down to the finish line for that one. I know this last lap has been a barn burner for them, and setting the stage for, I think, the rest of this championship. It's only going to get tighter in that XC2 Pro-Am class. There's a lot of different folks that are able to win, just like what we're seeing happen now in the XC1 Pro class. And Walker Fowler finding that out firsthand, that more winners are being born. And the one winner that he doesn't like to see so much is Bryson Neal, doing it time and time again. But like we said, 51 points coming into this race. I think he's got a pretty good handle on things as we approach the midway point of the season, as we head down with Mikey Waynes and Walker Fowler.
Well, thank you, Rodney. Hey, down here with Walker Fowler. Walker, a 2nd place finish here today. Man, walked over, saw you kind of nursing the side there, man. What's going on?
Just riding the bull.
Riding the bull, simply put.
This thing had me wore out 20 minutes in. I got to go back to square one. This is, I'm riding the best I can, but this thing's pathetic. So I gotta start from scratch, and a C-class rider could probably beat me right now, and I'm only getting beat by 39 seconds. So, you know, it's frustrating. That's for sure. Today was damage control yet again. Tried a completely opposite setup of last race because I really missed it, and didn't help. So, like I said, I'm just frustrated. It's I'm riding good during the week, and I'm getting good shape, but it feels like my shoulders are out of place trying to steer this damn thing, and I don't know what it is. It's like I said, it's just frustrating. So I kept it on the track. I crushed a Nerf bar. I did finally find a tree, but luckily I was able to deflect off of it and keep it trying to go down the track. It doesn't like going down the track, so I think I want to ask Bryson if he'll trade me quads or something, because I think this quad's rooting for the wrong team.
There you go. Well, Walker Fowler, a 2nd place finish here today. Congratulations to you, man. What's the mindset going into the next one?
Go back to square one. I got to find something. I'm losing points. Luckily today, stopped the bleeding a little bit. Only lost 5. You know, Bryson's that I'm looking at the end game in the championship, and he's chipping away at it. No different than Cooper Webb was at Ken Roxon, and you know, I saw that whole battle, and you know, I hated how Ken just let that thing get away from him, and I don't want to be that guy. I want to be Cooper Webb. So I gotta figure it out. Like I said, I know I'm where I need to be. It's just I gotta start over. So sell this thing. There'll be an auction after the race. I don't know, something.
There you go. Back to square one for the number 1. We'll take it back to you, Ronnie.
Wow, quite deflated, Walker Fowler, but at the same time, I think a man on a mission. He sees that hey, something's not clicking right, whether it be a mental game, whether it be something in the machine itself. He's not feeling it, and you can see it and you can hear it in his discussion as well. But he's a true champion, there's no doubt about it, and those kind of guys can fight their way back. Let's head on down to Mikey Waynes with Hunter Hart, our 3rd place finisher now.
Hunter Hart jumping at the bit here, man. Hunter, I think it's safe to say you are not a fluke, man.
Yeah, no, that was good. I was joking with you before. I was joking with you before. in Georgia when you said, yeah, who knows if the first two were a fluke, and like to say they weren't. And no, good. We checked off another box. You know, we had a great start. We were second behind Walker. Bryson got around us. We rode on third. Then we were second there for a couple laps as well. And then, yeah, we ended up that last lap. We were struggling a little bit. I was joking with Walker, and I go, hey, Walker, if this whole racing thing's not for you, the towing business is, because he definitely threw me a tow rope that last lap and drug me to the finish, which was nice. You know, it was solid day.
So Walker, I mean, Walker. Well, that's a good compliment. That's a good compliment. Hunter, man, we're 6 rounds into this now, and you got 3 podiums under your belt in those 6 rounds. What kind of confidence is Hunter Hart riding with right now?
Oh, we're good. You know, we're feeling good. You know, we're getting stronger and stronger. You know, we sometimes will have a little bit of a struggle mode halfway through the season, and I think we've figured that out. You know, we need definitely a little bit more there at the end. But no, I think we're making good progress. You know, we've changed a couple things. Started working with Steve Hatch, and Mark Notman's taking us under his wing as well. And yeah, we're able to just kind of we've got a good program right now that's working, and we're finding our groove, and we're just clicking them off week by week.
There you go, Hunter Hart. Congratulations to you, man. Rodney, he got his first XC1 win here a few years ago. I gotta think we're gonna start seeing Hunter Hart at the center of the box here real soon.
Hey, I have to think you might be right, Mikey Waynes. Congratulations, Hunter Hart, taking 3rd place position finish here today at the Hoosier GNCC. And you're wondering about that battle between the XC2 Pro-Am. Wyatt Wilkin wins out nearly 16 seconds over Ronnie Rush at the checkers. Tanner Walker will finish up in the number 3 spot. Ben Kowalewski in 4th, and Kenny Schick dropping back to the number 5 spot. As we take a look at our top 10 unofficial overall results and the Rocky Mountain ATV MC board here, we got Neil Walker Fowler, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, John Glotter, your top 5. Then Jared McClure, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Devin Behan, and Wesley Wolf to round out the top 10. Well, tomorrow we got two-wheel racing action coming here to the Hoosier GNCC, and I'll tell you, folks, a big day is expected here tomorrow. Over 1,000 pre-entries coming into this weekend. What kind of turnout will we have for tomorrow's two-wheel action? You're going to have to tune in to find out, or if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by. This has been a live presentation from our friends at RacerTV.com, and on behalf of all of us here at Racer TV, my co-host, Mr. Mikey Waynes, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.